Enough is enough. Canadians demand an end to liberal EV mandates fueling affordability. Calgary, Alberta, is alive with energy this summer as Stampede season brings communities together. But beneath the festive atmosphere, a serious conversation is unfolding across the province and the country. Canadians from all walks of life are raising their voices in frustration over the federal government's aggressive electric vehicle mandates, which many see as out of touch with the realities faced by everyday people. Since Mark Carney became Prime Minister after the April 28, 2025 snap election, the Liberal government has pushed forward with plans that require an ever-increasing percentage of new cars sold in Canada to be electric. While this policy aims to reduce carbon emissions, it also threatens to create a significant affordability crisis and disrupt the livelihoods of thousands of Canadians. The Liberal plan demands that by next year, 20% of all new vehicles sold must be electric, escalating annually until 2035 when the government intends to ban the sale of all gas and diesel-powered vehicles. This transition, intended to spur innovation and combat climate change, feels rushed and unrealistic to many, especially in provinces like Alberta, where the realities on the ground are vastly different from the urban centers that often dominate national policy discussions. People here are deeply connected to their vehicles, not just as a mode of transportation, but as vital tools of their trade and survival. In rural Alberta and other parts of Canada where distances between communities can stretch for hundreds of kilometers, electric vehicles still struggle to meet practical needs. Charging stations remain sparse outside major cities, and the extreme cold of Canadian winters reduces battery efficiency significantly. Farmers, oil field workers, and tradespeople rely on tough, reliable gas and diesel trucks capable of hauling heavy loads and operating in challenging conditions. Electric vehicles, with their limited range and charging infrastructure, simply cannot replace these workhorses yet. Many Canadians feel this mandate fails to respect the diversity of Canadian life and geography. Beyond practicality, the cost of this transition is a major concern. Electric vehicles carry a hefty price tag, often costing tens of thousands of dollars more than comparable gas-powered models. In a country where inflation and cost of living pressures are already squeezing family budgets, many worry this policy will deepen financial hardship. For many families, farmers, and workers, this is not a lifestyle upgrade, but a looming financial burden. The policy also threatens the Canadian automotive industry, with production hubs in Ontario and Quebec facing uncertainty as gas vehicle manufacturing winds down. Alberta's economy, heavily reliant on the oil and gas sector, faces particular risks. The everyday operations of many businesses depend on gas-powered vehicles and equipment. If these are restricted or banned, it could hamper productivity and put jobs on the line. Workers in the energy sector, who already face economic challenges, worry about losing access to essential tools needed for their work. The government's EV mandate is seen not only as an environmental policy, but as a threat to the economic stability of entire regions. Political leaders on the Conservative side, including Pierre Poilievre, have been vocal in their opposition. They argue that the government's approach is a top-down mandate that ignores the voices of Canadians who must live with these rules. Poilievre emphasizes the need to protect consumer choice and ensure that any transition to cleaner vehicles is affordable and practical. Conservatives call for a balanced approach that supports innovation but does not abandon the realities faced by workers and families outside of major metropolitan areas. Mark Carney and the Liberals defend their policy as necessary and urgent, emphasizing the global imperative to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. They point to international trends where many countries are adopting aggressive EV targets as part of their climate strategies. However, critics say the Liberals have underestimated the social and economic consequences of a rapid transition. The one-size-fits-all policy risks alienating large parts of the population who feel overlooked or dismissed by Ottawa's urban-centric policy lens. This growing divide has sparked vibrant debates in communities across Canada. Town halls and public forums in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and other provinces have been packed with citizens demanding a reconsideration of the EV mandates. People express a desire for solutions that work for all Canadians, solutions that recognize regional differences and respect economic realities. The frustration is palpable, with many feeling that the government's policies are out of touch with the everyday struggles of hardworking Canadians. The controversy has also triggered broader questions about Canada's economic future and environmental responsibility. How can the country achieve its climate goals without sacrificing jobs and economic security? What role should government play in managing this transition? These questions are central to the current political landscape and will likely shape election debates and legislative priorities for years to come. In this atmosphere, Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives are positioning themselves as defenders of Canadian families' freedoms and livelihoods. They advocate for a market-driven transition supported by innovation and incentives rather than mandates and bans. Their message resonates with voters concerned about affordability, freedom of choice, and economic fairness. It's a political strategy that highlights a contrast with the Liberals' top-down approach and taps into growing discontent in key regions. As Canada moves forward, the battle over electric vehicle mandates represents more than an environmental policy debate. It embodies the tensions between ambition and pragmatism, between national goals and regional realities. Canadians want a future that is sustainable but also just and achievable for all. They want leadership that listens to their concerns and offers real-world solutions, not just mandates imposed from the capital. The stakes could not be higher. With the Liberal minority government under Mark Carney navigating a fragile political landscape, the pushback against the EV mandates could influence not only policy, but also the next federal election. Canadians across the country are making their voices heard, demanding policies that respect their lives, jobs, and futures. The call is clear. Enough is enough. Canadians are standing together, asking for an end to EV mandates that fuel rising costs and threaten freedoms. They want a balanced path forward, one that embraces innovation while protecting affordability and choice. The future of Canada's economy, environment, and society depends on finding that balance.